pancake, Hyung said. There was fear on his face. At the same time, the main character's face looked like that of a maniac. We see them hitting different parts of their bodies on the slope. They continue to fly down. A knife flew out of Hyung's hand. Both characters hit their heads on the slope. Finally, we see them both fall to the ground. Lim said, we can see that he rolled over on his stomach. Despite falling, Lim was able to get up. At the same time, Hyung hit his head on the concrete railing. Lim picked up a rock and was about to strike at Hyung. We see the angry face of Lim, who has already raised his hand to strike. But suddenly, on the face of the main character, anger was replaced by surprise. We see the main character standing over Hyung. Hyung's head is bleeding. Lim dropped to his knees and placed the rock on the ground. I won, Lim shouted, raising his hands in the air. I won for the first time. Against a bandit he could only beat up in his dreams. Maybe I have a talent for it, Lim thought. Tears welled up on the protagonist's face. And from now on, I'm going to kill all the assholes in my path, Lim thought. We can see the joy of victory on the main character's face. Suddenly, he felt a little unwell. He looked down at his hand, which was covered in blood. We see that the knife bit into Lim's body. Well, of course, Lim said while losing consciousness. It had to happen, Lim said and fell to the ground. I thought that at least once I would have a proper revenge, but it was all in vain, thought the main character losing consciousness. We see Lim start to wake up. Did you wake up? Cha asked, standing by the hospital bed. Fortunately, thanks to the help of the guys who found me unconscious, I was able to recover safely. Narrated by the main character. We see that his friends have surrounded his hospital bed. The doctor said the stab wound was shallow, and I blacked out after the fall. Lim thought, don't be a whiner. They said you were fine. We see Cha hit Lim on the shoulder. When they found me, the gas maniac was gone. How did this asshole escape? Lim pondered. We see how Lim's friends found him unconscious. And even though I didn't catch the culprit, the guys agreed to our agreement. Lim thought, you've lost and don't fool around that it's not true. But don't we owe you at least for saving us, Cha said. To think that you would just jump off with him. This is a match for the guy that Hangul brought in, Kim said. We see Kim put his hand on Lim's shoulder. We see the main character's surprised face. Yo, Lim Dejin, so you survived? Cho asked. We see that Coach Lim came to visit him in the hospital. Isn't it time to start learning how to fight seriously? You'd better tell me right away if you want to get off, Cho said. As soon as I'm discharged, let's get right down to business, Lim said while sitting on the hospital bed. After I was released from the hospital, as a thank you, the guys fulfilled one of my most cherished wishes, which came right after training and fights. Lim was telling me. We see a house that has become a new haven for the main character. Lim Dajin, is that really all you want? Kim asked. We see a pork tenderloin. Could you ask for something better than a pork tenderloin? Kim said. We see friends preparing food for Lim. Looks like you really do have it. I really like it. Kim continued. We see Lim happily eating the food that his friends have prepared. If anyone saw you now, they'd think we were starving you to death, Cha said. We see the whole new company of the main character. Cha's words brought Lim to tears. Cha da fuck, what an asshole you are, the girl said. Chi, what's it got to do with me? Cha asked. You're the one who told me to only give him tuna. So you all agreed, Cha answered. We see a dialogue between two friends. We're all fugitives like you, and we're not in a place where we can be nice to someone we've just met, Kim said. Forgive us, said another kid who was there. We see that Lim's eyes are filled with tears. I understand. I just never expected that living on the streets would be so difficult, Lim said. We see the tears of the main character. I wanted to live a normal life, but why did this have to happen to me? Lim said at this time, all of Lim's friends were listening intently. Do you think it was hard for you alone? We had it too, Lim's friends said. We see the main character's surprised face. There isn't a single person here who didn't have their own circumstances, Cha said. We can see the entire company. Some didn't even have a family to throw out of. Cha continued, we can see that we are talking about Kim. We know very well how hard it is to live on the streets. Cha continued, you too, if you don't have a place to go back to, and if you're going to continue living on the streets, you can just stay here. Cha continued. The main character was surprised by such a proposal. We won't force you to do everything the way it was before, so don't worry, Cha said. And even though you'll have to live like a tramp, Cha continued, holding the back of his head with his hand. It's pretty nice to live free with these assholes, Cha said. We can see the shoes of the entire dig thrown off. The entire company smiled at that, and the main character also smiled. I don't remember the last time I smiled, Lim told me, but it feels like I haven't smiled like this in ages. A group of friends were discussing Cha's speech. After the gas incident, my life changed a lot. We see the house where Lim lives. First, I didn't sleep in the laundry room anymore. We can see the bruises under Lim's eyes. Now Lim sleeps with everyone on the same room. Although I don't even know if this is a good thing, Lim was telling me. Also, to make it easier for us to establish a relationship, from that moment on I began to communicate more naturally. Have you seen Kim Teek? The girl asked Lim. No, I haven't, Lim replied while staring at the girl. But there wasn't much difference in age between us. It was the hardest thing to get used to, Lim was telling me. We see a drawing showing all the characters who lived in the house with Lim and their age. Chores that I hoped would be shared equally among everyone. They were distributed in different ways. Lim was telling me. We see flashbacks where the main character remembers how he did all the homework himself. But others had their own part-time jobs, from which everyone could contribute a penny to the overall contribution. We see that Cha works at an auto repair shop, Hong works as a pool hall receptionist, Kim works as a barista, Ha works as a tattoo artist. Everyone except me and this guy, Lim was telling me. We see Cho lying on the floor. Oh, I was supposed to teach you how to fight, right? Cho asked while lying on the floor. Is it normal that only we don't have a job? Maybe we should do something around the house, asked Lim. Forget it, everything is normal. I'm in charge here, Cho said. Is everything really okay? Lim asked. Trust me, Cho replied with a smile on his face. On the next page, we see Cha kick Lim. I went to work, Cha said. If you want to live with us on equal terms, then work as we do. Joe Hangul, that asshole, doesn't bring a dime into the house, and says it's all right. Lim looked surprised. You can also learn to fight after work, Cha continued. Udachki, Cho said. So I got a job at a pizza place nearby in our neighborhood. It's been 2 days since I started working. Narrated by the main character. We see the pizzeria building where Lim works. But I already want to leave, Lim was telling me. We see Lim's boss yelling at him, and the main character himself is standing with a mop in his hands. Hey, do you have any soju here? Kid, are you deaf? The visitor asked. What's wrong with the locals in this pizzeria? Lim thought. We see how the client turned to the main character. Young rascal, your brain isn't working at all? He comes to work out everything on the weekend. The pizza shop owner said, You didn't explain anything to me, except that I have to work on weekdays, Lim thought. It's much kinder at home. I need to find a part-time job somewhere else, Lim thought. I need to go to the bathroom. Lim said, Hey, leave your phone here before you go, Chief Lim said. We see Lim's tired face. Dad, said the girl who entered the pizzeria. Nayan asked, Nayan, did you come? We've got a lot to do here, so help out with Navik. The pizza shop owner said. She, so beautiful, Lim thought, blushing with embarrassment. So what if it's beautiful? It doesn't make it any easier to work. Lim thought as he recalled his conversations with Hong, who was extremely rude to him. And I still don't like the girl at all, Lim thought. Suddenly, Nayan approached Lim. We can see the faces of 2 characters in profile. How cute, Nayan said while looking at Lim. Lim's face turned red. Okay, I'll try a little more, Lim thought. I didn't know then how meeting this girl would turn my life around. Lim was telling me. We see Lim and Nayeon standing face to face. We see that evening has come. I really don't know anything. I beg. A person spoke, and we see something that someone is stepping on his head. Please don't kill me, the victim continued. Go and tell that bastard what if he doesn't come crawling back to me with whoever gassed us. Cho said. It was he who dealt with the crowd of people who were lying beaten on the ground. Then I'll personally find him and finish him off. Joe said. We can see the serious expression on Joe Hangel's face. We again see the pizzeria where the main character works. Nayeon shows a pizza-making master class, and Lim is thrilled with the scene. So beautiful, Lim thought as he looked at the pizza shop owner's daughter. We see that the main character cannot open a jar of cucumbers. Nayeon helped Lim open a jar of cucumbers. So cool, Lim thought. No way, my salary, Lim shouted in tears as he stood over the broken dishes. Hurt yourself? Don't worry. I won't tell my father about this, Nayeon said. Cleaning up broken dishes. Is she an angel? Lim wondered. Thank you very much, Kim Teek, for giving me the opportunity to work here. Lim thought as he recalled how Kim brought him to the pizza place. Maybe it's a dream job? As long as there are no rude visitors here, you can't think of a better job than this. We see Not, who is smiling. What? Shouted dissatisfied customer pizzeria sitting on a chair. What do you care where I smoke? The client continued. I'm sorry, but other visitors. Nayeon didn't have time to finish. Scum, I don't care. We see a glass of Coke flying over someone. On the next page, we see that the glass flew into Nayeon. She was doused from head to toe. What a freak, Lim said. The main character was about to engage in a battle with the abuser Nayeon. We see the pizza shop owner grab Lim's arm. Stand still. The pizza shop owner said. But boss, Nayeon her, said Lim. We see the main character's surprised face. Nayeon is fine, the boss said. Sorry to bother you, Nayeon said. We can see Nayeon's smile still on her face. God, I'm sorry. She's still young and has so much to learn. We'll replace your drink, Nayeon's father said. That'll be it. I don't need anything, a disgruntled customer said. We see the pizza shop owner apologizing to the customer, and his daughter tilted her head forward. Even the boss. What the... said Lim. He was surprised by the current events. The boss, Lim said. We see a pizzeria where the main character works. Why didn't you say anything? That's how he treated Nayeon, isn't it? Lim said while expressing bewilderment. I'm fine, Daejun, Nayeon said. Obviously, it was his fault. Lim said. Lim Daejun, the boss said. What do you suggest we do? Nayeon's father asked while sitting on a chair. Do you want to ruin our business? Continued the owner of the pizzeria. Calm down, Dad. Daejun, did you happen to come from a different neighborhood? Nayeon asked. Aha, Lim answered. We see Lim looking at Nayeon. There are dangerous groups operating in this area, and it is difficult for an ordinary person to understand who they are. Therefore, we need to be careful when such visitors come, said Nayeon. We see people who are members of various street gangs. Naturally, I don't want to see my daughter suffer, Nayeon's father said with his head down. But I've already seen enough of other places disappearing, having fallen out of favor with such people, Nayeon's father said. We see that other establishments have burned down or suffered other significant damage from street gangs. It's my fault that I'm broke and uneducated. At this time, we have no choice but to accept and bend under them, Nayeon's father said. We can see the owner of the pizzeria looking sad. Thank you for worrying about me, Daejun. But I'm really fine, Nayeon said. We see the girl smiling at the main character. Thanks to this restaurant, I can go to school and my dad has a job. That's great, isn't it? Nayeon said. Nayeon acts a lot more mature than I do, even though we're the same age, Lim thought. The main character lowered his head as he considered everything that he had just been told. Dad, don't cry, let's get ready for the night shift, Nayeon said. Life here is much harder than I thought, Lim thought. We see a daughter comforting her father. After a while, I got used to my work, and my first lesson began. We see Lim and Cho standing on the roof of the house. First, let's deal with your fear of hitting someone, Cho said while looking at his charge while scratching the back of his head. Although it seems that you cannot worry about this, Cho continued, we see a serious-minded main character. Don't make a big deal out of yourself just because of one win. Or are you always going to throw yourself into a cliff during a fight? You're too green to beat those thugs in a normal fight, Cho said. Then what should I do? Don't worry about it, Cho said. We see Cho hit Lim in the face with the book. Because I'm going to fix you up, Coach Lima said. We see Cho's evil smile. Oh right, did any of your family try to find you? Cho asked his ward. We can see that this question was unpleasant for Lim. The main character lowered his head down. Even if they do, I have no reason to leave, the main character said, looking menacingly at his coach. We see a satisfied smile on Cho's face. For the next few days, Joe Hangul downloaded me like he was trying to kill me. Running, skipping rope. We see Lim doing various exercises to understand his physical fitness. Push-ups, squats, abs. We see Lim doing exercises that will help him build muscle. And even strange footwork. We see Lim jumping up and down. Should these workouts really help? In all that time, I didn't land a single blow, Lim thought. We see that during training, Lima Cho reads manga and laughs. Hetch, I have nothing against this footwork and stuff, but don't you have a better way to always win? Lim asked his coach who was lying in front of him. I've already shown you, haven't I? Cho asked. There was a look of displeasure on his face that Lim was distracting him from reading the manga. Use the environment. Said what? We see Lim's surprised face. Stop the enemy's movement, block your vision, and find the right weapon. That's all, Cho said. We see flashbacks of Cho throwing away Lee Doyoung's gang. But it's almost too easy to develop haha. So do what I tell you to do diligently, Cho said. It was fun watching your lame attempts against Park Jong-hyun, Cho thought. We see Cho giving advice to Lim with a smirk. You'd better teach me how to use my fists, Lim said. What's up, kid? What can such a person do? Cho didn't have time to finish his sentence. We see Lim holding the phone in his hands and turning the screen towards Cho to show him something. I want it too, Lim said, showing videos of MMA fighters fighting. That asshole hair is just thinking about being cool, Cho said, looking reproachfully at his charge. We see the main character take a step back. Cho tried to use the manga to hit Lim on the head, but Lim took a step back and dodged the attack. Cho didn't understand how Lim managed to do this. On the next page, we see a series of punches from Cho, and all the punches missed the target. Lim managed to dodge all the punches. PFFT. Okay, I'll teach you how to use your fists, the main character's coach said with a smirk on his face. Using your example, Cho said. A wicked smile appeared on Cho's face, and he began to flex his fists. Wait a minute, Lim said. His entire face betrayed his fear. A few days later, we see an abandoned building. We see the baseball bat flying. On the next page, we see that the bat hit the head of a man who was wearing a helmet. Kai Woon Jo Hangul is wandering around beating up our guys. What do we need? The bandits asked. Kai answered. We see Kai standing over the man and holding a bat pointed at the man who is lying on the ground. Seriously? So? Kai continued. We can see that he has put the bat behind his back. What do you want me to do? We see Jun Kai Woong in full growth and are shown his full name. Shouldn't we report to the seniors? A gang member asked. To be punished for this mess I made without their knowledge? Chun asked. That's not what I meant. A gang member answered. It's all your fault, Chun said. We see how the helmet flew off the person. Idiot. We see Hyan lying on the floor with his helmet on and Chun hitting him. I told you I couldn't do it, Hyan said, trying to justify himself for not being able to kill Jo Hangul's family. Awesome job you did, so you thought you could screw up and then leave? With my fucking money, Chun asked Woo Hyan as Chun hit Hyan's body with the bat. Enough, I'll pay you back, Hyung shouted as he received punches from Chun. Just please let go, yelled Hyung. Hey, stop wasting your breath, Chun said. When have I ever given someone a break with a job they have to do? Chun asked. We see him trying to shove the bat into Hyung's mouth. But I think I should step in myself, right? I don't want to get caught by the Hyungs, Chun said. If you do this, things will be much easier, said the bandit. But don't count on much, Chun said. We see a dialogue between gang members. Half an hour. Scour the area and bring Hangul's gang here in the meantime. Chun gave the command. His charges were in shock. The gang member didn't finish his speech. We can see his confused face. Are you still here? Chun asked. There was a sinister smile on his face. After that, we see 3 gang members run to find Hangul's family. We see Cho's house. Oh shit, no one home? The bandit wondered as he knocked on the door of Cho's house. Hey, we're screwed anyway. Wouldn't it be better to go up against Jun Kai-woong together? One of the gang members asked. Dumbass, don't you realize that Jun Kai-woong is much worse than Jo Hangul? The second gang member answered. We see the bandits standing outside Cho's house. Then what should we do? A gang member asked. I think I know where they might have gone. I'll call someone in the area. The bandit replied. What is this place? The blonde-haired bandit asked. This, the accomplice said. We see one of the gang members making a phone call. Pizzeria. The bandit who called on the phone continued. It's already been so long since I started working. Can't they start paying me once a week? Lim wondered as he approached his workstation. Lim noticed that the pizza shop's window was broken. Looking inside, he was very surprised. We see how one of the gang members beat up the owner of a pizzeria. We also see Naeun sitting on the floor. I heard that you're friends with Kim Teek, but you don't know where he is? Goon asked. Who is this guy? Naeun's father asked. We see the big guy holding the pizza shop owner by the scruff of the neck. Man, are you sure this is the right place? The big guy asked someone on the phone. Yes, I'm sure. We told the bully on the phone. Where are you hatching, kid? Get out of here, Thug said while looking at Lim. That bastard. The main character thought. Lim's face was filled with rage at what he saw. Naeun, I'll help you. We see Naeun on the floor. Get out of here. We're fine, Naeun said. What? Lim wondered. Naeun is different from me. There's nothing she can't handle. She is kind and helpful. Unlike me, she is well aware of the consequences of her actions. She'd put up with it for so long. She behaved like an adult. We see a lot of flashbacks where we are shown Naeun's behavior in different situations. To protect the restaurant, Lim thought. He said it needed a place. Tell me where Kim Teek works. The big guy was talking. I'm sorry, but we don't really know, Naeun answered. The big guy was waving his arms. For the welfare of your father, Naeun worked so hard to protect it. How can I put them in harm's way? Lim thought. We see how the main character clenched his fist with all his might. Everyone lives in their own way. I want to be an adult like Naeun, Lim thought as he closed his eyes. But, thought Lim, we see the main character throw a bottle at the big guy's head. Next, we see that the main character went to the pizzeria. Who are you? Amble asked. We see Naeun's surprised face. Now is not the time, Lim thought. I'm a regular customer, Lim shouted with rage on his face. Kim Hee-young is 17 years old. Height 181 cm, weight 110 kg. We see Kim in full growth. Surprisingly, despite the fact that his huge body was made up of nothing but muscles, he never exercised. The narrator speaks. Kim Tae-young used his natural features exclusively for violence, and unlike Lim Dajun, he was expelled for a different reason. We see battered schoolchildren lying on the floor. No one was able to do anything to Kim Tae-young. We see Kim Yeon. In any case, within the walls of schools. The narrator continues. We see Chun holding a bat in his hand. You're a tough guy, Chun said. We see Kim beaten up. Outside of school, only Chun Kai-woon was his natural enemy. The narrator continued. Kim Taeyong, who always thought so, was confused right now. The narrator continued. We see Kim's surprised face. The reason was that for all 17 years of his life, he first saw such a strange picture. Before him stood a frail loser who had dared to fight back, the narrator said. We see Lim, who took a fighting stance and prepared for battle. To him, Lim Dajun was like a fearlessly barking puppy. We see a puppy barking at big guy Kim. You come on, you'll throw your hooves away if you fight me, sang Kim, spitting on the floor of the pizzeria. Don't spit on the restaurant floor, Lim said. The pig is finished, added Lim. We see a smirk on Lim's face. This fool doesn't seem to understand me, Kim said, his face showing surprise at the protagonist's behavior. I'm going to have to scrape you off the floor bit by bit, Kim said and attacked Lim. Come on, just do as you were taught, Lim thought. We see the main character's serious face. The first in a street fight. Use the environment too, the main character thought. We see Lim kick the chair in the direction of Kim's movement. Block their movement, Lim continued his thought. We see the chair hit Kim's leg. Next. What Hangul taught me, Lim considered his next move. We see how the main character is going to strike. We see the roof of the house where the main character lives. What are you doing, Dajun? Cho asked. We can see the movement of Coach Lim's legs. On the next page, we see a fist that stopped near the main character's face. Aren't you going to run away again? Cho said. We see Cho throw punches and go around Lim from different directions. I can't move, Lim thought. Don't pull your hand away too much when you swing for a punch. Look carefully. Knee, hip, shoulder, Cho said. We see Cho's movements. It's a jab. The left fist is used to control the opponent, Cho said. At this time, Cho threw punches that stopped close to Lim's face. But the real punch behind the jab is a punch that goes from the legs to the fist. Coach Lima said, we see a reversal of Cho's leg. Direct, Cho said. We see the right straight punch stop close to Lim's face. Inside, everything froze. Is this boxing? Lim wondered. In Lim's pupil, we see a fist that stopped in front of the main character's face. Phew. You won't be able to do this kind of thing, but I'll keep an eye on your form, so keep practicing, Cho said while looking at his disciple. Did I get hit? Cho asked. We see Lim lying on the floor. The punch that's been hammered into me all these days, Lim thought. We see Lim's serious look. Jab, Lim thought. We see the main character deliver a left straight punch to Kim's head. What the hell, Kim said. We see how he missed the left straight from the main character. Transfer the power from your legs, thought Lim. We see Lim turn his right leg, putting all his kinetic energy into the kick. In the fist, direct, Lim finished the thought. We see the newly minted boxer deliver a straight right punch to the big guy's head. We see Kim's head flying backwards. Daejin, Naeun thought. She was shocked by what she saw. We see Naeun's father get to his feet. He was always a friend I wanted to help. But he doesn't look like himself, Naeun thought. We see flashbacks where Naeun helped Lim in every possible way at work. I hit him perfectly, Lim thought after the series of punches he landed on Kim. What did you teach him, Goatskin? Go find a part-time job if you have time to do it, Cha said while talking to Cho on the phone. We see Cha's workplace. Yes, I don't enjoy working, Cho answered. But why is he so eager to learn how to fight? Cha asked. To get even with the freaks who bullied him, Cha answered. Even the reason is like a typical loser's, Cha said. We see friends discussing the game over the phone. Even so, it's surprisingly fast to learn. He can fight right now, Cho said. And who will he be able to beat by learning only this? Cha asked as he continued talking on the phone. In a rookie fight, brute force is always the answer, Cho said. We see Lim's surprised face, especially against muscle heads. Cho continued. Don't give a fuck. I was already surprised you're doing something, Kim asked while holding the back of his head. Is he all right? Lim wondered. Did I really invest badly in the strike? Lim wondered. Looks like it, considering how you're dodging. We say Kim striking at Lim, but none of his punches hit the target. Judging from this guy's movements, it doesn't seem like he knows how to fight properly, Lim thought. We see Lim step back after each amble attack. Stop jumping around and come here, Kim shouted. It'll all be over if he grabs me, Lim thought. We see Kim's aggressive face. At the same time, Lim was as focused as possible. If so, then, Lim thought. I'll keep dodging and hitting until he falls, Lim thought as he punched Kim's head. We see the pizzeria where Lim worked. I'm sure I've already dealt enough blows, Lim thought. We can see that the main character is starting to get tired of fighting. But it feels like he's at least henna. Moreover, the main character thought. We can see the marks of blows on Kim's face, but he's smiling. He's got me cornered, Lim thought. We see Lim's confused face. Come here, little thing, Kim said. We see Kim grab Lim by the scruff of the neck. Kim then punched Lim in the face. The main character had a hard time. His punches. Too heavy. Didn't I tell you that you would die if you fought me? Kim asked. We see an evil smile on the big guy's face. Didn't I stand a chance against him in the first place? The main character wondered. You'd better listen to me. We see Kim choking Lim with both hands. Kim's grip tightens. I can't breathe, thought Lim. Stop it, shouted Naeun. Na Naeun? Lim thought. We see how the girl tried to stop the big guy. Get off, Kim said as he pushed Naeun back with one hand.